What happens when the most powerful man in WWE breaks down over losing his greatest warrior? Triple H couldn't hold back the tears when John Cena announced his retirement, and what he said next will change how you see their 20-year relationship forever. Stay tuned, because this story goes deeper than anyone expected. What's up, Wrestling Verse family? Before we dive into this emotional roller coaster, smash that like button and subscribe if you're a true fan of the greatest sport entertainment company in the world. Hit that notification bell because you don't want to miss what's coming next. Let's get into it. When John Cena stepped into that ring and announced his retirement tour, the entire wrestling world stopped. This wasn't just another superstar hanging up his boots. This was the 16-time world champion, the face that ran the place for 2 decades, telling us that the end was near. But while fans around the globe were processing this bombshell, one man's reaction stood out above all others. Triple H, WWE's chief content officer and the man who once feuded with Cena in some of the most brutal matches in company history. The Game, the cerebral assassin, the King of Kings, a man known for his stone-cold demeanor and calculated business approach, couldn't hide his emotions. And when Triple H gets emotional, you know something profound is happening. Let me paint the picture for you. Behind the scenes, according to multiple sources close to the situation, Triple H had to step away from production meetings. Colleagues reported seeing him wiping his eyes, struggling to maintain the composure he's famous for. This wasn't the corporate executive we've come to know. This was Paul Levesque, the wrestler, the competitor, the man who shared the ring with Cena during some of the most defining moments of the modern era. To understand why Triple H's reaction was so powerful, we need to rewind the clock. We need to go back to when a young, hungry John Cena first locked eyes with the Game. Their first major confrontation wasn't just a match. It was a passing of the torch, whether anyone realized it at the time. Triple H was the established main eventer, the centerpiece of Raw, the man who had conquered everyone in his path. John Cena was the rising phenomenon, armed with nothing but hustle, loyalty, respect, and an unshakable belief in himself. What followed was years of legendary battles. Remember their Iron Man match? 60 minutes of pure wrestling excellence. Or their encounter at WrestleMania, where they told a story that had the entire arena on the edge of their seats. These weren't just matches, they were masterclasses in professional wrestling psychology. But here's what most fans don't realize. Behind the heated rivalries, behind the trash talk and the brutal chair shots, there was mutual respect. Triple H saw something in John Cena from day one. He saw the work ethic, the dedication, the willingness to do whatever it took to be the best. In interviews over the years, Triple H has mentioned how Cena never missed a show, never complained about his schedule, and always put the company first. That's the kind of warrior Triple H respects, because that's exactly who Triple H was during his prime. They pushed each other to greatness. Every time they stepped in the ring together, they elevated their performances. They made each other better, sharper, more dangerous. That's what true rivals do. They don't tear each other down. They build each other into legends. As the years went by and Triple H transitioned from full-time competitor to executive, his relationship with John Cena evolved. It became something deeper, something more meaningful. Triple H became one of the architects of WWE's future, and John Cena became the bridge between generations. When Triple H needed someone to help guide younger talent, Cena was there. When major decisions about storylines and championship reigns needed to be made, these two men would sit down and discuss the business they both loved. There's a famous story that circulated in wrestling circles about a creative meeting where John Cena advocated for putting over younger talent, even if it meant taking losses himself. Triple H reportedly stood up and applauded, recognizing that Cena had fully embraced the mindset that Triple H himself had learned from his mentors. This is the wrestling business, family. It's not just about winning championships and getting your hand raised. It's about building the next generation, leaving the industry better than you found it, and understanding that your legacy isn't just what you did in the ring, it's who you helped create. John Cena embodied that philosophy. He became a mentor, a locker room leader, and someone that Triple H could trust implicitly. When you spend 20 years in the trenches with someone, when you've bled together, fought together, and built an empire together, that person becomes more than a colleague. They become family. So when John Cena announced his retirement, Triple H wasn't just losing a performer. He wasn't just losing a draw or a ratings boost. He was losing a brother in arms, a piece of WWE history, and a connection to some of the greatest moments of his own career. Imagine being in Triple H's position. You've dedicated your entire adult life to this company. You've watched it grow, evolve, and transform. You've seen legends come and go. The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker. Each departure chips away a piece of the era you helped build. But John Cena was different. Cena was the last connection to that golden age of WWE in the 2000s and 2010s. He was the constant, the reliable warrior who showed up year after year, carrying the company on his back when it needed him most. For Triple H, seeing Cena walk away must feel like watching a chapter of his own life close. It's the realization that time is undefeated, that even the greatest eventually have to bow out, and that the torch has been fully passed to a new generation. Industry insiders have shared that Triple H has been reflective in recent weeks, talking to close friends about the weight of these transitions. He understands better than anyone that this is the natural cycle of professional wrestling, but understanding it intellectually and feeling it emotionally are two completely different things. Here's the beautiful truth that Triple H understands, even through his tears. John Cena's retirement isn't an ending. It's a celebration of one of the most incredible careers in sports entertainment history. Cena came into WWE as an unknown and left as a cultural icon. He became a 16-time world champion, tied with Ric Flair for the most recognized championship reigns in the business. He granted over 650 Make-A-Wish requests, more than any other individual in history. He became a Hollywood star while never forgetting where he came from. Triple H's tears aren't tears of sadness, they're tears of pride. Pride in what they built together, pride in the matches they delivered, and pride in knowing that Cena represented everything WWE stands for at its best. And here's what gives Triple H hope. John Cena's retirement tour is going to be spectacular. It's going to be a year-long celebration where Cena can properly say goodbye to the fans who supported him, the colleagues who fought alongside him, and the company that became his home. Triple H, as the creative visionary behind WWE's current product, gets to craft that send-off. He gets to ensure that John Cena's final chapter is worthy of the legacy that came before it. That's not just a professional responsibility, that's a personal mission. The wrestling business has a saying: the show must go on. And it will. New stars will emerge, new legends will be born, and WWE will continue to entertain millions around the world. But there will only ever be one John Cena, and Triple H knows that better than anyone. So when you see Triple H emotional, when you see him struggling to find words, remember that you're witnessing something rare and genuine. You're seeing a man who has lived this business, breathed this business, and sacrificed for this business, coming to terms with the fact that even the greatest eras eventually end. But endings create new beginnings. And if We's current trajectory under Triple H's leadership is any indication, the future is brighter than ever. That's the story. Wrestling vs. Family. Triple H's tears tell us everything we need to know about the impact John Cena had. Not just on WWE, but on everyone who was fortunate enough to share the ring and the journey with him. What's your favorite John Cena moment? What match between Cena and Triple H stands out to you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's celebrate the legacy of one of the all-time greats. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your fellow wrestling fans, and subscribe to Wrestling vs. CC for more in-depth wrestling content. We've got so much more coming your way. Thank you for watching, and remember, hustle, loyalty, and respect aren't just words, they're the foundation of a legend. Until next time, keep the wrestling spirit alive.